Okay. Salutations, everybody. Since I haven't streamed in a while, I kind of want to do a quick audio test. Real quick. First off, oops, hold on one second. Let me turn that off. Oopsie. Sorry. Didn't ads. Okay, sorry about that. Okay. Just wanted to do a quick audio test. Mic audio is good and game is fine. Okay, but like I want to do some like shooting. How's this in comparison to like my own voice and all that? Yeah, just let me know how all this sounds. Still fine? Okay, good. Alright. So I think we can begin our class. Okay, let me just turn it off. Oh, okay, never mind. Give me a second. So, one announcement. Oh, thank you for the super chat, Turbo. Appreciate that. So, one announcement before we start. I'm doing a tutorial series right now. But, like, or not like a, well, I'm doing a tutorial stream right now. But, us at VKMT are planning to do a series of tutorial videos on the VKMT YouTube channel, which are going to be edited and a lot more concise than what we have for this stream. But, like, this stream is just kind of, like, something that I've been wanting to do for a while. Just to showcase, like, how to get into Halo modding in general. I know a lot of people have questions, and there's not a lot of documentation online on how to get stuff, like, sorted and all that ready. Thanks, Sean. So yeah, we're gonna, this is gonna be super basic for the first stream that I'm gonna do regarding, modding in general. I do not have this planned. I'm doing this all kind of like winging it, so we'll see how this goes. So, yeah, so to get started, so the Halo MCC, in terms of, like, modding in general, has this thing called the Halo Editing Kit, or the HEK for short. So it basically comprises of a couple of different programs that enable you to, well, mod the game. Let's just go on over to my Halo 2 editing kit. This will apply to a lot of the other editing kits. We'll just go to Halo 2 just as an example. I may just make these large icons. That'll work, whatever. I know I got a lot of these here, but anyway, the programs that consist of the Halo editing kit revolve around Gorilla, which is your tag editing program. So if you used assembly in the past, have you ever had any kind of like modding experience? It's very similar. There's just no memory editing. So this is basically your tag editor. You have Sapien, which is your scenario editor, which is this. So if you've seen me in past streams working on Uncut, this is what Sapien is. This is your scenario editor. This is what enables you to place objects into your game world, AI squads, all that kind of stuff. And then lastly, in here, this is, well, actually, no, not lastly, second to lastly, this is new to the Master Chief Collection series of Halo mod tools. This is Tag Test. So if you don't want to have to compile a map to test something out real quick, we have a standalone debug build of your respective Halo games. You just go in real quick, test out some stuff, and then make changes accordingly and all that. But lastly, let me go back to my mod kit here. We have Tool. Now, Tool is a command prompt that comes with the editing kit, and this is what you use to compile stuff. So, like, compile map files, models, bitmaps, sounds, stuff that like is basically finalized is ran through Tool, and you basically just have a copy of like CMD in your editing kit, and then it'll just automatically work as Tool. Hey C-Funk, how you doing? So that's basically what rounds out the editing kit. So you got Gorilla, you got Tool, you got Sapien, and you have Tag Test, which is again new to Master Chief Collection. We don't have a tag test for like other editing kits, like for Custom Edition. I'm not aware of one existing. Never really came with one. Neither did for Halo 2 Vista. So yeah. So just going on over what you need to do to get yourself whichever mod tool that you want. So, for example, you would get them through Steam, but specifically for the Halo 1 mod tools, these are the only tools in the collection that I'm fairly certain that I'm aware of that are completely free. So you don't have to actually own Halo 1 on the Master Chief Collection to actually run the Halo 1 mod tools, which I feel is kind of strange, because if you don't have Halo 1, like, how do you test stuff? But, you know, it's just something to mention. But for Halo 2 and onwards, you have to own the respective game in order to download their mod tools. Oh yeah, and Asuyas, as what Sean's mentioning, this is something that you've been seeing probably a couple times in my streams regarding uncut modding. This is Asuyas. This is a program that makes it way easier to access a lot of your editing kit software. So you have like run Sapien, run Gorilla, run Tag Test, which is run game. You have packaging, which is like how you compile maps. It's just way more streamlined. I definitely recommend getting Asuyas if you want to get into Halo modding. It just makes things so much faster, like sounds, models, bitmaps. I'm assuming this is for strings. You can also make different profiles. This is on my Halo 2 Classic profile, but you also have Halo Reach, or you can also do Project Cartographer version of Halo 2. I have ODST, CE, and Halo 3. And like all of these like point to their respective programs. So that's Asuyas. So yeah, you would go into Steam, you would find the respective mod tools, you would download it through here. You don't actually have to launch them through Steam. I hardly ever really do that, honestly. I just go to like their respective directories and just either launch it through there or launch it through Asuyas. I mainly use Asuyas anyway, but yeah. So yeah, a lot of what I'm going to show tonight basically applies to a lot of the other tools, but for you to identify which tool is which, like it's kind of obvious: Halo 2, Halo 3, ODST, Reach, but Chilan 1 is Halo CE's tools. Just in case you were confused with you know, like the naming scheme, like you have Halo 1 right here, Sapien tool, all that. That's the name of the directory when you download the Halo 1 tools, is Chilan_1. Any questions before I go on? Because I know I've just covered through quite a lot of tools. While I'm still in here, though, I'll talk about how to extract the tools when you download them, because it is something that a lot of people do miss. But before I get into that, anyone got any questions? In fact, I don't even know if I said Chilan 1 right, but I don't know. Oh, it does show HCE editing kit? Oh, okay. Alright, never mind. Forget what I said about Chilan_1. Yeah, that's because I've had it since day one. Thanks for pointing that out, Sean. How do you do tags? Well, I don't know what you necessarily mean by that. In terms of like editing tags, like that would be Gorilla. That's the program where you would normally modify them, and I'll go like through like a brief walkthrough of Gorilla later on in the tutorial. Will this eventually evolve into a Blender tutorial? For the VKMT series of YouTube channels that we have planned for like a bunch of tutorial videos, there's going to be other people besides myself who are going to include installments. And those people are like our mappers, our modelers, our animators, and they all use Blender. So they're going to be the experts on those subjects. So you'll definitely be seeing like some sort of Blender tutorial from any of those people. What is a tag? That is a good question. So a tag is basically just like a collection of information that make up a form of content for the game. Like, I'm not the best at explaining things, but like, here, let me show you an example. So I'm going to open up Gorilla. This is from Halo 2 Classic. We'll open up Gorilla. And actually, I already have... Well, I'm not going to use this tag. I'm going to use something more simple. Let's go into, like, let's say, for example, a weapon tag. Just pick something simple, like... Objects, where's weapons? Weapons. Let's look at the battle rifle from Halo 2. So this is your weapon tag. So a tag is like, again, like I said, a collection of information that make up a piece of content. So for the battle rifle, so for the weapon tag, like, it's basically just like going over how the battle rifle itself as a weapon functions. So you have like your rounds per second, shots per fire, like 3, which is your 3-round burst. And then this tag is referencing other tags. It's just like this big web of different information connecting to each other. So like, for example, your weapon tag needs a model in order to be visually like visible. So you have a model tag. And then for Halo 2 specifically, they'll also have first-person model tags. So like, so that way you'll actually see it in your hands. Stuff like that. So it's pointing to other tags to make up this one umbrella. And I'll go over like how to like change some of these values later on in the tutorial. Anything else before I continue? How different are the current tools when compared to the old custom edition editing kit and the Halo 2 Vista map tools? I can comment on the Halo 2 Vista tools because I have more experience modding Halo 2 than I do CE. But, so with what we have for MCC is way more accessible than what we had with Vista. Like, Vista had a lot of things, like, stripped from the tool collection. So, for example, you couldn't really do anything with, like, AI all that much. Like, campaign stuff wasn't really possible. You couldn't really, like, compile a lot of other stuff. You could do custom models, though. I remember some maps having, like, custom, like, weapons in there. But yeah, like, a lot of stuff was stripped from Vista. Mainly, like, campaign stuff. Couldn't really do any, like, you couldn't do custom campaign maps. That I remember. Yeah, you couldn't do anything with campaign for the most part. Like, the most you were able to do with campaign is just kind of like tag editing, which is like not really the same compared to what we have. But alright, so now that we moved on from that, oops, wrong thing. So when you download your mod tools, it's going to show up as just these batch files and like this 7-zip. You'll extract using one. You can either like extract here or use the batch file. This is what you need to do to get access to your data, your tags, and just about everything. All your tools, the Gorilla Sapien. That's how you get access to these. Because I got a lot of questions where like people will download the tools and it's like, well, this is all that came with it. Like, I don't see Gorilla. Where's Sapien? So yeah, you have to extract the 7-zip folder and whatever, and then that's how you get access to everything. Something I like to do too is that when you have your data and your tags and all that, you want to make backups of those. You can either upload them to like some like file hosting website like Google Drive, or I just kind of keep them here because I have the space for it. But yeah, I recommend making backups so in case you mess up or something gets corrupted, you can just go back into like your original pool of tags and then just bring those over, and then you'll be able to start from scratch. Oh yeah, that is true, Vuthacrawl. So with the CE editing kit, well, not necessarily just the editing kit, but just kind of like Halo CE in general, is that like a lot of the quirks that came with the Gearbox port were fixed. It's not 100% perfect yet, but a lot of like the shader stuff was fixed. So like that's a huge benefit of working with the Master Chief Collection version of the game compared to Halo PC and Custom Edition. But anyway, so yeah, that's the gist of that. Make backups of your tags. Data, like I mentioned, data is mainly for like script compiling. Well, CE is different, but like for Halo 2 in particular, actually, let me just go back to small icons. Not that small. Medium will do. Or actually, just give me a list. Okay, whatever. Anyway. So yeah, I mainly use data for script compiling, which you would find in like scenarios, solos, like the map folders here, and then you'll have like your script files. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So yeah, that's mainly for scripting. Tags is where you'll probably spend most of your time. This is where you find your weapons, which would be fun. And then objects, you would find your weapons, your vehicles, bipeds, stuff like that. So let's use Gorilla to edit a weapon. So I'm going to close out of this map. Let's go to, or actually, you know what, I don't have a lesson plan for this. I'm kind of winging it. This will be a lot better when I do the proper video or like future streams. So I'm kind of using this stream now as kind of like a way to plan those out in the future. So, okay, so assuming we have a Suios, or assuming we don't have a Suios, we'll go into tag test. Let's click on tag test. I also recommend getting borderless gaming. This helps with just having all of tag test be full screen. So when you're in tag test, you have this menu, old classic Halo 2 menu. And none of this that you see here is really all that relevant. Like, none of this will work. So the way to get access to your map files, you're basically running these scenarios and not actual map files themselves. So a way to get access to like any old map, you'll click the home key, and you can either go multiplayer missions, or you can click 5 for campaign missions. But the thing with multiplayer missions is you kind of have to set them up to be played in tag test properly. They need a specific script that you have to write in order for them to not fade to black. So let me just show you an example. I'm going to try loading up midship. Actually, I might have midship modded already. Let me just check. Okay, well, there you go. Yeah, so this is kind of what happens when you try to load a multiplayer scenario. It thinks that I believe the way this works is that like it thinks that like it's trying to look for a solo scenario or whatnot, but this is a multiplayer scenario and there's no compatibility. So you have to write a specific script for that, and I'll get into that more a little later. But I do have a map that is set up for tonight's stream. I did coagulation. I did this for the thumbnail. So we're on here now. We're on coagulation and tag test. This is going to be our base of operations for doing various tests. You could do things by clicking home again. You can spawn objects in thin air. So we'll go into, I'll just start this over. You click on your home key. You click 2 for cheats. You go to 10, which is drop objects. You just hit enter there. We're going to look for the battle rifle. So we'll click on human weapons. And then 4 for battle rifle. And we got a battle rifle that spawns right in front of us. Okay, I don't want those. Okay, my HUD is messed up because I'm using my custom globals, so don't worry about that. This is just my uncut globals that I'm mainly using. So don't pay mind to that. So we're going to do some tag editing. So we're going to open up Gorilla. Let's go to Gorilla. We have our battle rifle tag open right now. Let's say we want to have the burst not be a burst. Just make it single shot. So we go to what is called shots per fire. We'll set this to 1. And we hit save. So we'll just do Control S. Then we go back into our scenario. You'll see that the little yellow text on the bottom left there. It says that the tag was reloaded. But now, when we press fire, it's a single-shot battle rifle. Very simple stuff. Let's try something different. Let's try... We'll put this back to 3 rounds, I guess, for now. Or, let's just keep it single-shot. What about a different projectile? This is where we get access to a drop-down box. Or not really a drop-down, but a different window. Now this is where we get access to different tag references. So like I said, a tag is a group of information that makes a piece of content like what it is. And that tag can also reference other tags. So now, we're going to have this tag reference be changed from a battle rifle projectile to... How about a fuel rod projectile? So we'll change it to the flak bolt. So to get from that, you go to weapons, support high, flak cannon, projectiles, flak bolt, and then flak bolt projectile. You press open, you hit save, and now we're shooting fuel rods. I now have a DMR that shoots fuel rods, basically. So that's tag reference swapping. So far what we've done was we changed a value, like a numerical value, and we changed a tag reference. Let's see something else that's very simple to do. We can go into just like really more complex stuff like changing trigger behaviors and in fact, I'll do a really simple one. We're going to make this BR full auto. We'll make this. So first, getting a little ahead of myself. I'm not used to doing tutorials live. So, the battle rifle usually starts off at latch zoom. This is actually kind of a relic of when the battle rifle used to have 2 different firing modes. But if you switch this to latch, it's basically the same thing. Probably want to change this to none anyways for doing latch. But so like, I'll go over each of the behaviors. So you have latch, which is semi-auto. You have spew, which is full auto. You have latch auto fire, which is what the plasma pistol uses. So like you'll have one firing mode, which is usually semi-auto. And then you'll have like a charge up mode, and that's the auto fire version. So like when you tap the trigger, it does one thing, but when you hold the trigger, it does something else. Usually charging up a weapon. You have charge, which in its name is like it's only charging a thing. You have latch zoom, which is what I just talked about in regards to having a weapon have 2 different firing modes. It's basically centered around zooming, so when you zoom in, you can have one firing mode, and then unzoomed, you have another firing mode, that's latch zoom. So for example, in the Halo 2 beta, the battle rifle shot in 3-round bursts when not looking through a scope, and then when it zoomed in, it was firing in single shots. So that's why the latch zoom was here. It's just kind of a relic of that time. Last but not least, and this is really only exclusive to Halo 2, is latch rocket launcher. It just kind of allows you to have the tracking feature. This is no longer in any game from Halo 3 and onwards. So now we're going to make this spew. So we're going to make behavior spew. We'll hit secondary to none. You only really need the secondary barrel for trigger behaviors that require a different barrel. So like latch zoom or latch auto fire. So we'll set that to none. You want to set prediction to spew if you're making like multiplayer content, because the prediction value is what allows your multiplayer network to predict what type of firing mode you have. So it's just good practice to, if you're going to use spew, to set this to also spew. And then we go down to barrels. Oh, by the way, for Halo 2, where I was just at, this is called new triggers. Go down here. We're in barrels again. For full auto, set these shots per fire to 0. Always have that be 0. Now we hit save. Just have something hella cursed. So what we just did, so for the first couple of things, again, we changed a value, we changed a projectile, or not, we changed a projectile, but we also changed a tag reference, but then we also changed modes. I don't know the right term for it, but we changed like a specific like mode or something like that for behavior. We also changed some functionality as well. Was the latch zoom behavior kept in later games? Actually, yes. If you played Halo 4, and I think Halo 5 as well, you have the light rifle. Basically the exact same thing as the Halo 2 beta's battle rifle. So like when you zoom in, it has this like bigger shot, but when unzoomed, like it shoots in smaller 3-round bursts. So yeah, latch zoom, I don't think it was used at all in Halo 3 or ODST for that matter, but they kept that functionality in the tools, like I guess for like future proofing. Like maybe they want to revisit that kind of behavior later on, which is what 343 did with Halo 4. So yeah, they definitely used it there. Is there any way to have a weapon use 2 different ammo types for 2 different firing modes? There has been hacky things in the past, right? So if you've seen some mods for Custom Edition, SBV3 is an example of this. You'll see like some weapons have like different like alt fires, like grenade launchers, for example. But that requires like different scripting, and I don't think that's doable here. I never actually tried something like that, but I know it's been done in the past for custom edition mods that used open source. I think I know Ruby did something for ODST where he had like, I don't remember if it was like the assault rifle of his had like a grenade launcher. But I don't think you can reload them, if I remember correctly. He would know. But I don't know if you can actually, like, reload them. But, like, you can have it set so, like, when you do... In fact, I'll show you right here. Yeah, like, loads alternate ammunition. I believe it does that for the grenade click or something like that. Like, there's some stuff here that would give you that functionality. Oh, second barrel. Oh, the new triggers. So second barrel. So like that. So let me explain what a barrel is in the context of the weapon tag. So a barrel has all this information. So you have like rounds per second, acceleration, all this. A barrel basically has all the information that allows a weapon to function a certain way. So, for example, it's firing this projectile one time, but, like, the projectile that you're firing doesn't have, like, its own ammo. that would be in the magazines section. So like, this is the type of ammo that your battle rifle would always use. Like BR ammo.equipment, it always uses this type of ammo, regardless of what barrel you're using. Do the rounds come from your camera or your magazine? They could be done either way. For player characters, they always come from the camera. So if you've ever seen older like Halo pictures where like some people are memeing about how like the projectiles are not properly coming out from the barrel. In fact, I'll show you an example of this real quick. Go into here and then tab. See how they kind of like not sync up at all with the barrel? But the reason for that is because it's firing from the camera, and that's honestly like the better way to have first-person gameplay. Let me just give myself full ammo real quick. Ammo. Let me just show that off again a little closer. Right here. See how it just kind of doesn't line up with the barrel at all. That's because it's to have it properly aim right at your reticle. That's kind of the compromise. You can actually kind of see that too in first person. Let me see what else I can do. Hey Scruffy, I'm gonna do this one solo first because I need to get back into like that whole streaming thing. Actually, you know what? I think we could do a call. In fact, I think if we can also have Bean come on if he wants to join us, because I know he wanted to do something in regards to having a mod tutorial stream. Yeah, if you want to do a call, Scruffy, like just set it up with myself and Bean. If he wants to join in, we can do something. But yeah, guys, any questions in regards to what I've done so far with tag editing? This has mainly been like a Gorilla tutorial. But yeah, Gorilla, again, is your tag editor. Again, if you've used assembly in the past, exactly like this. Let me just open my Discord real quick. So we might be starting a call soon. Okay. Yo. Yeah, let me check. Do you guys hear him? I might have to add you in here real quick. Give me a sec. I need to add Discord. It should work now. What is it? Discord.exe. Okay. Real quick. Just have this down here. Oh, he's too quiet. Okay, it's probably gonna be, game audio is probably gonna be a bit louder, but he's still too quiet? Hold on. Okay, how about now? Yo. Okay, just waiting for people to respond in chat. He's like a whisper. Okay. Because I hear you fine on my end, but that's, like, not counting. Trying to. I'm not used to this new format of OBS. No, try raising yourself a little bit. I think I'll be okay. It sounds like you're... to them, it sounds like you're whispering. Okay. Hold on a sec, because I don't know if they hear you. Just trying to see why it's like try this. Yeah, it might actually be coming from my headset. Crap. Why is this not working? Doesn't seem to be increasing his volume. Shit. Why is it not? Okay. If it's not increasing the volume, there's no point doing this. Well, I don't know, Scruffy. This doesn't seem to be working. Alright, I'll figure... Alright, thanks. Alright, well... Fortunately, we can't have him on, but basically what he was trying to say was, like, it's possible to have different, ammo types and different ammo in a certain way. I forget what he said at the end, because I was trying to focus, but it is doable. It's just a bit hacky. All I've done is, made the game louder. Yep, I knew that. Oops. Let me move that back down. Alright, there we go. Crap. Alright, well. This is what we've done so far. So that's a bit of a walkthrough of Gorilla. Now that we're in tag test, let me just, like, talk about a little bit of, like, some of what I was just doing here with, like, home and all that, and just, like, the, this camera that I've been using. So in access to the dev cam, you just hit backspace on your keyboard, and then you'll have access to your fly cam kind of around here. Controls are WASD, so left, right, forward, backward. R is up, F is down. If for whatever reason you want to have, like, spinning, you could press G, or, yeah, I guess G. I forget what the other key is. I think it's V? I don't normally do spinning. But yeah, you could do, like, spinning. If you want to speed up the camera, you can scroll up or down on your middle mouse button. Let me just go back to here and then fix that. There we go. You can scroll up or down on your key, or you could press Control and it kind of gives you like a little speed boost. I usually just scroll like this. Can you explain the difference between PC mods you have to download and some of the modded game types in Custom Games Browser? Those mods on Custom Games Browser, like, they're not like cache mods that you see, so like map files. They're all just like modified game types, and those are possible to run on Xbox and regular. Because they're not modifying like the map files themselves, they're just modifying some of the game types, which is synchronized for everybody that is in a modded custom game. You can't have a modified map on one person's host be played on a different map most of the time, because they're basically two different entities at that point. But anyways, back to tag test. Like I said, press backspace, you get access to your dev camera. Still spawn stuff through cheats. You can access different things like Deathless Player. So So it's like just not die. In order to access the console commands, you'll hit your tilde key, and you'll see some pink text. Let me just get a better angle for this, so that way you can actually see it. Like here, you get access to a small purple command line to your bottom left of the screen. You could type in various commands, like let's say for example cheat all weapons. You get access to your different weaponries here. Same with, I don't know if cheat all vehicles works in Halo 2 single player modes. Hold on. Oh, it does. Okay. So yeah, cheat all vehicles works. Basically stuff like that. Oh yeah, the mongoose doesn't work for humans right now. But yeah, that's your command line. I did a little thing up here for the thumbnail. I'll go over this in a second. Alrighty. How do you get to the third person view? You click backspace. Oh, and then to get to this mode, you'll hit backspace again. And that'll give you third person mode. And then you hit backspace one more time. And that brings you to first person camera. Can you enable any weapons to be dual wieldable? Actually, yes you can. That's a good question. In fact, I'll show that off right now, actually. In fact, since we did our cursed battle rifle, we can just spawn another one. So it would be 2, 10, 1, 4. Be our next battle rifle. Let's go back into our gorilla. Let's go to where you can enable dual wielding. So you'll find, okay, so for starting at the top of the tag, you'll scroll down until you see this box with a lot of different options, specifically over the secondary trigger mode. Let's do it normal for now. You're going to find a specific checkbox that says can be dual wielded. You click that, hit save, go in game. Now you're dual wielding battle rifles. Booyah. You obviously don't have animations for dual wielding battle rifles, like we're reloading, but yeah, you can make just about anything dual wieldable. Dual wielding support, I believe, went up until Halo Reach. Halo Reach still has it, like Elite's dual wield. You can enable dual wielding still, but like there's no animations for it, to my knowledge. You kind of have to like finagle your way around that. I don't think it's in Halo 4 anymore. And then Halo 2 Anniversary, obviously, but like, I don't think it's in Halo 4, and I don't think it's in Halo 5 and onwards either. Only in Halo 2 Anniversary and then Reach and below, not counting CE. But yeah, you can do dual wielding. That's a really good question. Anyways, now that I have my effed up battle rifles, actually, I'm going to show you a neat little command that I like to use a lot when I'm in tag test. This is called Jetpack. If you've played MCC recently and used the Acrophobia skull, that's basically what this is. This is a great tool to kind of fly through your level and get to where you want to be as quick as possible. So this is what I like to always have on whenever I'm doing testing. You'll see this on some of my older streams whenever I'm trying to test something specific and uncut. I always like to have this on. Yeah, and that's kind of the thing. Like, usually it's just animation support. If there's no dual wield animation at all for the later Halo games, it's just not going to really work well at all. Alrighty. So moving on. That's basically tag test. There's a good little thing. We'll come back to tag test in a minute, though. For now, we're going to move on to Sapien. So this is Sapien. This is our little game world. This is where, again, like I said in previously, this is where you place objects. This is where basically all the magic happens. So I have a bunch of these objects here that I used for the thumbnail. So when you open up Sapien, it's not going to look like this. May as well show this off now. Cascade. This is usually how Sapien comes when you open it. In fact, let me start over. Let me show you exactly what happens. So I'm going to hit that off. I'm going to go to Soyos, click Sapien. Let's click on coagulation. So when you open up Sapien, you're looking for a scenario file. I'll show that off again because I was a bit quick. So it's kind of like, it's basically like a beefed up Forge in a way. So you'll just let this finish its thing. We're back in here. So like I said again, if you want to open a scenario, basically the place to look, you would go from your editing kit place, you go to tags. Now, some games do this differently. Halo 2 has scenarios as where it stores its, scenarios. But I believe Halo 3 and onwards will have it be in a levels folder. So you'll look for the levels folder in those games. But in this case, in Halo 2, it's scenarios. We're working with coagulation, so we'll go to multi. Solo is where you have single player campaign. So we'll go to multi. Coagulation is kind of in a weird spot. You'll see like a lot of these other map names. But then you have Halo here randomly. So, what's it called? Bungie was doing this kind of weird thing where like they had like certain maps categorized by like where they were in the canon universe, I guess. So Beaver Creek, Coagulation, the Derelict remake, I believe I forget what High Plains is, and then you have Warlock. All of these take place on a Halo ring, so that's kind of why they're in a Halo folder. So you click on that, click on the scenario, click open, and then you load into this. And like I said, the window format is not exactly like how it was. This is how it starts. You can drag and drop and resize basically into like whatever format you like. I like having game window be on top left. You could do it however way you want, honestly. This is how I like to do it. Game window up left, hierarchy view top right. I'll explain what each window does. Properties right here, like as this size. Output window underneath the game window. And then I don't really use tool window much, so I just kind of have it down here. Just make this a little bigger. Make this a little smaller, and just make this a little bigger. Yeah, this is kind of how I have my window set up for Sapien. You don't have to copy this. It's really just how your personal preference is. Oh, okay, yeah, you're right. They were all Halo 1 remakes. That's why it's the Halo folder. Yeah, you're right. I forget about that. But yeah, I forget what High Plains is. And yeah, and in fact, I'll show you now what Sean's talking about. There's the Marathon folder, and those are the two Marathon remakes. So you have Foundation, which I believe... I forget. The maps are escaping me. I know Gemini is Duality. I forget what Foundation is. Can you see these tools in the old Bungie vidocs? You can in small instances. I've seen Sapien before in some shots. Are you doing the Halo Reach Evolved update? Yes, I am, but that's going to be taking a long time. There's still a lot of work to be done. But anyways, this is Sapien. I'm going to go over each of the windows that come included with this program. Obviously, you have the game window. Shows the game itself. Basically, the engine running the scenario as like it would be in the game itself. You have the hierarchy view, which gives you access to objects, scenery, vehicles, bipeds, all that kind of stuff. Let me just move this over. There we go. You have properties, which kind of showcases like different values of the object that you have selected. So like if you want to change like the position of it here, like in small minute value changes, you can do that there. You have the output window, which is mainly used for scripting purposes for Halo 2. Whenever you're like making like any sort of like script changes and you compile the scripts, like if there's like an error, it'll spit out an error message in the output window. You probably won't be using this much, but for those who are going into like map scripting, this will definitely be a good resource for you in case you mess up somewhere. And then the tool window, again, you won't really use this much, but this kind of like gives you some other functionality. I mainly use this for this box right here called only draw selected items. So when you select that, it basically deletes everything except what you have selected in hierarchy view. I mainly use this for going through like trigger volume stuff, but don't worry about that. So those are the 5 windows. In fact, I'm going to delete all of these units here since I don't need them at the moment. In fact, these are scenery versions of the Pelican and Phantom. Okay. So, how do we use Sapien? How do we get an object into the world? Let's do that. Let's say I want to place a scorpion right here. Now, the weird thing... Well, don't worry about the Sentinel Enforcer. That was just me testing. So the thing with Halo 2 and Halo CE in particular, for multiplayer maps, is that even though like the Scorpion like is very easily on this map already, it's in the map in the form of what is called an item collection. And instead of it just being like a weapon tag, it's an item collection tag, and that usually lets the game types for both CE and Halo 2 cycle through the different item versions. Like, I'm trying to find a good explanation, but like, so say you want to have the Scorpion spawn, but like it also randomizes to like the Wraith. It's part of that item collection group. So if you just placed a Scorpion down somewhere on the map, it's always going to be there. And item collections in CE and 2 let you turn those off and turn them on. So anyways, let's just get like a vehicle in here anyway. We're going to get the Scorpion, so we'll go in. It automatically opens your vehicles folder. Go into Scorpion. Scorpion.vehicle. You click add. It'll show up in the window here. Click done. Click done again. Or just click OK. Now, with the vehicles folder selected, you right click anywhere and you'll get like a little box. You can drag this box wherever you want. But it's not going to spawn anything until you give it a type, and this is where you go into the properties palette. And then you look for your Scorpion reference, and now you have a Scorpion. Scorpion in your game world. You can also change like its rotation by clicking any of these arrows. You got the yellow, which turns it on the y-axis. Then this one for R. And then the blue one for that direction. Or you can edit them manually here. Just click map reset real quick. Oops. That is too low. Actually, it's because of this angle. There we go. Anyway, so that's how you get an object in. Same with bipeds. I have a bunch of bipeds in there already, but let's say we wanted to add a new one. Go into add. We go to tags. So if we're in the Halo 2 Edit Kit main directory, we go to tags, objects, characters. Let's say we want to add Tartarus, right? So we go to brute. You have the Tartarus biped. You click on the Tartarus.biped tag. You hit add. Once again, you click OK. You go to bipeds. Right click. Scroll to brute Tartarus. And now you have Tartarus in the game. Very easy stuff. These are just bipeds. These are not necessarily AI objects. This is just kind of like the model doing its idle animation. You don't normally spawn bipeds like in campaign maps unless you want them to do specific animations, like for like cutscenes, or you can have them spawn as dead. And that's how you place corpses on the map. So that's just another example. Can you set something to phased physics? Not something you can really do here to my knowledge, no. You can't set anything to phase. You can't have anything like go through map geometry, unfortunately. I want to mod either Anchor 9 or Condemned into an invasion map for custom game browser, but not sure where to start. I'm sure there's a lot of tutorials for that. Unfortunately, you won't be getting that here, but I know there's plenty of people who've done this already. I don't know if you can do invasion on that map. You just kind of have to set it up like all the game modes and all the game type settings for that. But anyway, so that's how you spawn something in. Let's do AI objects real quick. This won't be like super in depth, just kind of going over like how you get an AI somewhere. So you go into the AI box. You go to squads, you'll hit new instance on top of here. Click squads, but now we gotta add AI characters. We don't have any of those at the moment because you need a character type. In fact, let me make this properties window a lot bigger because I won't be needing the tool window. So again, we need to add a new character. So same thing we did with the vehicles and the bipeds. You go to objects. You click new not new instance. You click edit types. Go to character. Click add. Opens up our characters folder. Now let's say we want to add the Flood Juggernaut. Go to Flood Juggernaut. Go to AI. Add Flood Juggernaut. Click OK. Change the type to Flood Juggernaut. Now what we need to do is like, it's not gonna have oh yeah, before we do anything, click on the squads thing here. Okay. You'll go to see either normal difficulty count or insane difficulty count. If you leave these to 0, then nothing will spawn. So you want to set that to 1. You can also set these to like different numbers if you want to do different like difficulty scaling stuff. For now, we'll just leave it at 1. Okay. Now, if you want to make a spawn point, you click on starting points and you right click, and that's your enemy spawn point. Now, if you want specific things to happen for like specific spawn points, like say you don't want only Flood Juggernauts here, so like if you were to edit in the squads 0 box for the character type to be Flood Juggernaut, then both spawns will be showing you the Flood Juggernaut right there. Let's say we add another character. Go to character, let's say a Flood Combat form, right? We'll add that real quick. We'll have this second spawn point here be the Flood Combat form. We'll set this Well, actually, we don't even need to set it to 2. We'll just show you what happens if you set it to just 1. It'll either spawn the Juggernaut or spawn the combat form on this spawn point that we just edited. But if you set it to normal difficulty count to 2, erase, then you got both of them spawning together. You can only change counts for normal and legendary. For normal, I believe it counts for easy, normal, and heroic. But legendary is its own entity. So for anything other than... Oh yeah, by the way, for those who don't know, insane means legendary in Halo modding lingo. But, yeah, for normal, it's easy, normal, and heroic. Basically just anything but legendary. You could do stuff for, like, something spawns only on heroic, but that kind of goes into the realm of scripting, which I'm not going to do today. But yeah, this is basically how that works for spawning. If you want to give something a weapon, like this combat form here, for example, we got to get a weapon tag in, so we'll go back to edit types. We'll click weapon, add. Let's make the old famous rocket flood. So we'll give this weapon to this combat form. Erase. And now we have a rocket flood. Now, something I want to add about, like, giving AI certain weapons, it's kind of limited to their animation set. So, obviously, Flood combat forms are able to hold rocket launchers because they have animations for it. However, if you were to try to give this Juggernaut here a rocket launcher, for example, can't really do it because it has no animation. So it'll spit out an error saying that the Juggernaut was unable to hold the weapon because it just can't. Can you set them to respawn once killed? Yes. But that's usually done through scripting, again. You can't really do that through these windows in Sapien. But you definitely can have something respawn the moment they are killed. That's definitely doable. Any questions so far? I know I've, again, covered a lot of stuff in Sapien. One more thing that you can do. Let's let the questions come in. If you want to actually play on your scenario through Sapien, I don't think CE has this functionality, but I know Halo 2 and onwards does. But you'll go through the game data folder and find a section called Player Simulation. You'll hit that, then right-click anywhere on the level, and now you're able to play. And then the AI will try to kill you. But, yeah, the reason the Flood is not firing on me right now is probably because there's no firing positions in the How do AI teams work? That's a good question. Let me just despawn myself. So the way the teams work is if you want something to be on your team natively, you'll set that AI squad. So for example, squad 0. You'll make that the player team. So now that I go back in, I don't think it's saved. Okay, it does save natively. So now they're on my team, because they're on player team. Oh, just kidding. You have to respawn them. Okay, hold on. Okay. Now they should be on my team. There we go. Now they're on my team. Now they don't really care about my presence. So going back to their stuff. So here's the thing, right? About player teams. Let me spawn a couple of Marines real quick. Go to character, add, spawn Marines, AI, we'll spawn a regular Marine. I'll make this just a bunch of Marines. Take this off of him. In fact, I'll just make them both wheeled rockets since they're already on the map. Despawn them. I'm actually going to change their team to human. Now, you would think, yeah, human team should be on your team, right? He's still a combat form for some reason. Oops. Make him a marine. There we go. Two marines holding rockets. So now if I go into here, spawn, get their attention. Now they're firing on me. But, hold on a second, I'm on the human team, right? Like, why are they firing on me? Well, because in a lot of the campaign missions, you kind of have to have an allegiance command play for one side to be on your team. So you need to have the human team join forces with the player team. So let me try, I think it's AI allegiance, then player space human. And now if I spawn in, now they're on my team. How do you give player teams commands? I don't think I understand what that means. You'll have to clarify. Will this video be available as a VOD? Yes, it will. It'll still be on the channel after the stream's over. Can you make RB twerk in your next mod? You are free to do that, man, but I ain't doing it. Hey, have you looked at the recent released modding documentation? I still need to sift through that. I kind of have been away for a while. Personal stuff has kind of gotten in the way. I haven't really been in the gaming community recently, but I've clawing my way back in, as you can see. How do you give commands to your squad mates? Kind of can't really do that in Halo 2. You could do that in Halo 5 with the fire team, Osiris or blue team. But you can't really give like an AI. Well, I mean, unless you're talking about like scripts or like telling Marines to do certain things, but you can't really do that like in game unless there's some sort of like heavily scripted method of getting that to work. But again, that's all. A lot of that is through scripting. But that's a bit advanced. I kind of want to keep this tutorial kind of simple. Can you place waypoints? I believe you can do that through here. I think it's either flags or I think it's flags. Like if you place something here, it's like a cutscene flag or like an object. You could definitely do waypoints. Like you see them in campaign sometimes. I have to find out about waypoints though. I'm not used to doing them myself, but I know you can place them down through Sapien. Oh yeah, the cut squad commands feature. Can mod tools load any map file without replacing anything? When we do get Steam Workshop support, that's gonna just happen natively. You won't ever have to replace map files ever again when Workshop releases. But trying to think of what else to really cover that's just kind of really basic, because I basically covered most of what I wanted to cover for the stream, like just going over like all the basic tools and like what each of them do. Like what Sapien does, like you place objects down, or dealing with AI stuff. But there's a lot more complicated scenes to do. Like you can do like, you can have Marines or whatever like move to certain points on the map if you wanted to. Like for example, again, this is all through scripting, but this is just kind of like setting up to what you want to do. You could have like an AI move to this point, and you just write that out through script. I do want to get to scripting soon, but not for this stream. Just an example. But anyways, before we do close out, I kind of do want to like save what I have. But before I do that, let me move my starting spawn point, wherever that is. I believe it's there. I'm gonna move that up here. We'll move it up here, so that way I spawn up here. Then we hit save. And because I hit save, and I go back into tag test, it just kind of like made my changes. You don't actually see my Marines here when they're supposed to be over here. That's because AI squads require a script or a command to properly spawn in. So I'm going to show you the very first command. That's probably the simplest one and probably one you'll be using the most if you're doing like campaign stuff. This is called AI place. And I believe it's just called Squad 0 or Squad 0. I think it's Squad 0. I didn't give that squad a name. But there you go. That's how you get Marines or your whichever AI you have in your map in. And then again, I'll type in, let me just show you the thing here. Don't kill me. AI allegiance player space human. Oops. And now they're on my team once again. Is there any feature to help you locate an object you dig out of the hierarchy? I don't know what you mean there, honestly. Locate an object you dig out? You mean like, let's say, okay, I go into Sapien, go to my objects. I mean, you can kind of just like scroll down all of the objects that you have spawned. But I don't really know what you mean by locating. You just kind of scroll through what you have here. Like you can't find where it's placed. Yeah, you just scroll through here and it just kind of like you click on it and it teleports you to that object's location. Same with the scorpion here, it just takes you to that spot. Is there any way to adjust enemies or difficulty for co-op? I think Reach added more enemies and or reduced allies on co-op. That's all done through the globals tag. I think there's co-op specific stuff in Reach. I don't think for Halo 2 though. In fact, let me go to Gorilla and look at the globals tag. So that's like a lot of that like difficulty scaling stuff that you would do for like campaign balancing. That's done in the globals tag. So we're in Gorilla now. We'll type in, we'll just go to the globals folder, and then we go to globals.globals. I don't think Halo 2 itself has co-op specific difficulty scaling, but you can do stat through script. I know you can do that through like, if you can have like scenarios where like something happens if there's 2 players or 1 player, but not through like tag editing like through here. Like you could do something like if it's on co-op, you can have more enemies spawn or stuff like that. You can do that through script. Is there any way to join the VKMT crew? We're not really taking anyone in at the moment. So if we do ever plan on looking for people, we'll let you all know. But at the moment, there is no way to really get on. What's it like to load custom models in? So that's done through Tool, like I said. Let me see if I have a custom model I can show you that I have already prepared for Halo 2. Let me just find, in fact, I'll show the weapon. I'll show you the battle rifle that Sean T did. So go to my own little tags directory here. Battle rifle, E3 battle rifle. Okay. And I'll have the starting profile. Just make a new one. will this be? Oh yeah, if you wanted to have, like, may as well show like what I'm doing. So the starting profile section that I'm doing right here, this enables like a specific loadout for you to have when you load into the map initially. Coagulation doesn't actually have one. I don't think any of the okay, some multiplayer maps do, but Coagulation doesn't have one because it doesn't really need one anyway, because all that starting loadout stuff you control through game types regardless. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'll just show you one you could do. So when you start this, you click on New Instance when you have the starting profiles folder selected. Then you go to Primary Weapon. I'll show you the new battle rifle that I was about to show off real quick. Let me just get to it. Battle rifle E3. Make the rounds loaded. I think it's 12 and then let's do 144. Sure, why not? So I'll hit start. I'll hit save there. Let me see if it loaded. Okay, there we go. So this is a new model. This one actually follows my new HUD, so that fixed the HUD for you. So we're not gonna die. But if you want to like get a model in, that's what tools for. There's like a command, like. In fact, I should show you like what resource I use for a lot of my stuff with tool. Wait, where's the tool commands? Oh, they really fixed this. Tool, I think it's tool render. Right. I believe it's tool render. So this is the kind of the command you would input to get a custom model in, but you kind of have to have a JMS file, which is like the it shows you what a JMS is here, but this is kind of like the model itself that you would load in like Blender or something. You would save that JMS in Blender, and then you would use the tool to render that out into a usable render model for your game. What's it called? A lot of the other VCAM team members who are really adept at using Blender will be showcasing a lot more of that, but this is just kind of how you do it. So you would just type out like tool render like directory here without the less than or greater than signs, and then that, and then it'll render out your model. But let's say we want to save what we have so far right here. So we'll hit, let me just make sure this is still multiplayer. Okay, yeah. We'll hit save here. Let's actually use tool for once. We're going to save what we have in Sapien. Now we're going to compile this version of Blood Gulch. We'll type out tool. So basically for anything that you use tool for, you always start with tool, because that's what you're calling for. You're just calling for the tool program itself. For maps, you're going to use the command called build-cache-file, and then you type out your scenario directory. So let's find Blood Gulch real quick, or Coagulation rather. So we'll go to scenarios, multi, Halo, coagulation. So we'll go back into here, or we'll go back to here, type in scenarios, multi, Halo, coagulation. You hit enter. It's going to show a lot of scary text. Don't worry about this. It's going to do its thing. And once that's finished, Give it a second. It's very quick for Halo 2, but like the way it compiles a level is kind of dependent on your computer hardware. Luckily, I have a really good PC, and Halo 2 in general is very quick in related to like some of the other games. So it just finished. You'll say successfully built cache file, total time 42 seconds. So now that we have a compiled map, let's find it. We go back to the editing kit main directory. We go to h2 underscore maps Win64 DX11. For other games, it'll just be the maps folder. Halo 2 is just different because this is based off of the Windows Vista version, which had it like this too. And you'll find coagulation that we just had. Now we're going to go to the Master Chief Collection directory. We go to Halo 2. We go same map folder. You always want to have backups of your maps, of your originals, because it's better just to copy paste a backup than having to re-download the entire game. So if you're compiling maps, always remember backups. Same with tags, but anyway, we'll hit paste. There we go. Now we're going to go into Halo 2 itself. We'll go to Master Chief Collection. Always play with MCC anti-cheat disabled. This allows you to play modded content. I actually don't expect this map to work right because of, well, we'll see if it works. I don't think, oh, not campaign. Multiplayer, custom multiplayer, 2 classic. Go find our coagulation. Let's see if it actually spawns us up there. I doubt it does, but it'd be funny if it did. Either way, it should still have our weird battle rifle. Let's see if it worked. Okay, well, it didn't spawn us up there, but if we find our battle rifle, it should still be cursed. Let's see here. Yeah, it still has our modded battle rifle. So that's how you know the map compilation worked successfully. We actually have our modded content here. Let's see if we can get a spawn point up to where I had that modified stuff, but I'm not going to keep trying for it. I just know that it worked. So that's how you get modded maps in. That's basic run through of Tool. After all of what I said, any other questions? I know I've gone through a lot of material today, and I'm going to go through more specific things in future streams and future videos. Probably going to try to get somebody on for this next installment. This time actually having OBS work for me properly. What's the method for suppressing errors in Halo 2 editing kit? I know of one command, so if you go into here, see like that error message here, you go into Sapien or tag test, you type in tilde. Actually, let me get a better angle of this while also showing that. You type in error underscore geometry. Actually, you know what? I don't know why I didn't do this before. I'm just gonna. There we go. Much easier to see. Type in error underscore geometry underscore hide underscore all, and that gets rid of a lot of those error messages that you see on the map, and that'll be completely clean for you. Hey Grace, how you doing? I placed a player spawn point, but there's no default scripts for the AI. Yep, that's I gone over that already. AI don't spawn unless they're commanded to through script. You actually can bypass that if you do this, where you go into squads and have them click initially placed. Now let me save that and we go back into tag test. Now they're here. but that will basically only work for AI that spawn like right at the beginning of the mission. Right? Like, you obviously want more AI in other sections of the map, and you'd rather not have like thousands of AI spawn, so you have to like write scripts for that. Is this live stream staying? Yes, the VOD's gonna still be up when the stream's over, which I'll be ending shortly, because like this is basically just kind of like a beginner tutorial. What I'm actually gonna do, Sean, is that's gonna be like its own separate entity. Like, I'm gonna not have a bunch of ums and uhs and all that. I'm actually gonna do like a very different type of video for the beginning tutorial. Like, I'll probably have some footage that's shown here, but like it's gonna be completely voiced differently to how it was here. I'm basically gonna make it in my own style of video. That's gonna be a lot cleaner than the stream. But yeah, I'm gonna leave a link to the VKMT channel in the description of the stream soon. Forgot to do that, but that's where a lot of the edited tutorial videos are going to be from now on. They're going to be on the VKMT channel. Basically anything from tag editing, AI editing, scripting, modeling, map making, sound making, just about anything you can think of that would get into the modding process. It's all going to be part of the series. And with Steam Workshop coming relatively soon, I feel like this is the perfect time to actually get this tutorial series started. So any final questions before we bid adieu for the night? I still need to get me a second monitor because I have really bad bad delay on here. My what is my social security number? It's 1. That's my social security number. It's just 1. I just doxed myself. Have fun with that. What's the deal with mods breaking with MCC updates? That's because the map files themselves are part of a newer version of the game. So any mods that don't get a new compilation will just not work. In order for a mod to work again, you just have to have the author of the mod just recompile the maps, and they'll work for the new version of MCC. So that's going to happen whenever... I'm assuming that Steam Workshop support's going to be like its own update. I can imagine that. You kind of need the functionality to be in the game. So when that happens, I'm going to recompile all of the uncut maps that I have done and then re-upload them to Nexus. Or actually, no, not upload them. Nexus, we have Steam Workshop now. But I guess we can still have them on Nexus anyway, because it's an option for people. But yeah, they're mainly going to be on Nexus, or not Nexus, on Steam Workshop. But yeah, but in the past, back when we didn't have the mod tools at all, new updates posed a pretty serious problem for mod creators because we didn't have the ability to compile maps. Modding was basically just modifying the map files that we had through memory editing with programs like Assembly. So when a new update came out, all of that data that we modified was overwritten by the updated version of the map that released with the MCC update. So all of our work is lost, and we can't just copy-paste information. We just couldn't do that at the time.Yeah, BioAlpha. It's basically like a rough draft of what we plan on doing for the series, but I think I'll call it here. I think hour and a half is a good beginner time for the stream. Thank you all for stopping by. I'm very excited for what we have planned for that tutorial series. A lot of us at VKMT are as well. And yeah, I want to say thank you as well. Thank you all for stopping by. Thank you for dealing with my ramblings, as I had no lesson plan for this. That'll change later, hopefully. And I think that's going to be it. I'll see you all in the next one, and y'all have a good night or good morning wherever you are in the world. Thank y'all. Take